Welcome at the third video of the series How to Stay Mentally Healthy in a Crazy World. And this one is about the universe connection or the spiritual connection, the connection with the universe. One of the four haypoles you need to stay mentally healthy. Before we start, two things. The first thing is that this won't be the easiest video. And it's also not the easiest thing to reach the connection with the universe, to experience that. And that's because it takes some effort to go there. And that's just the way it is. The second thing is that this haypole, the connection with the universe, is in the deeper layers, and that means that we don't have many words to describe it. That's also just the way it is, and that will mean that it's sometimes difficult to put in words what the experience exactly is, but that doesn't make it less real. So let's start. The first thing is that the universe connection is beyond the mind. So what does that mean? We're going to talk about that and how to deal with that. And the second thing we're going to talk about is how to experience it. So what can you do to experience the connection you already have with the universe? The third subject is the enlightenment, something that we all want to reach, but what does it mean and what can we learn about that? The fourth thing, and that's the most important thing of course, is how to use it. How can we use this, the experiencing of the connection with the universe, for our daily life? And we end, like always, with the conclusion. So, beyond the mind, what does it mean? We see the model that we have talked about in our video about the theory, but we will repeat it very shortly. On the left hand side you see the singularity, where there's no time and space at all, and on the right hand side you see the blue half circle. That's the surface, and we are living on that surface because that's the full dimensional world. That's N is 4, and there we have time and space. So we also have different concrete things. We have tables, we have trees, we have cars, and our mind operates in that world. Our mind will separate between apples and pears, and it will separate between the future and the past. So it will divide everything in time and space. That's what the mind is doing, and that's why it's so very, very useful in our practical life. But we also saw that we need connection to stay mentally healthy, and those connections are in deeper layers. Those connections are in a world where time and space is less well defined, because the connection unifies things. They are not dividing things, they are unifying things. So at the level of connection, A can be B at the same time. Pears can be apples at the same time. So there are different realities at the same time. And that's the essence of the connections. So if we want to go to the connections, our mind won't help us. In fact, our mind doesn't want to come along, is not able to come along with us. So that's important to realize. Your mind won't help. So how to experience it? How to experience that connection with the universe that's already there? The first thing is that you're inwarding your conscience. So you're not going outwards. Maybe there's something outwards, out of the universe, outside of the universe, I don't know. It's impossible to prove it, and it's not necessary for what we are doing here now. So it's about inwarding your conscience. And it's the same if you're an apple and you want to have an idea about the tree, you have to go inwards, and you don't have to look at other apples or to other trees or whatever. So you're going to inward your consciousness. And to do that, you need a sharp point. If you look at the blue half circle, it's like the surface of an area. It's like a balloon. And if you want to go inside the balloon, you need a needle. And the needle, the sharper it is, the easier it will get you inside the balloon. And the sharp point in a in this service is the point where you only have one moment and one place. So it's a single moment and place, and if you focus in the normal world on one point, in one place, you will sink into the balloon and go to the deeper levels. And that's what you're doing. And the focus can be on anything. It can be on a rose, it can be on the tip of your nose, or it can be on your toe, or whatever. And the most used technique is meditation. And with meditation, you focus on your breathing. And it's a very useful technique, but you can use other things to focus on. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you can ignore your mind. So, because your mind won't go with you, because your mind will stay at the surface, because your mind will think about yesterday, what happened there, will think about tomorrow, what should happen or what you want to plan. It will go to other places, it will go to the kitchen because there's something cooking, and if you don't pay attention, it will go wrong or whatever. So your mind will keep on moving over the surface to prevent you, in fact, for focusing on one point. And then you have to just let the mind do what it does and ignore it. Because it's not really a problem that the mind is doing that. The mind won't come with you anyway to the deeper layers. So just ignore it and you will sink if you stay with your conscience on that one point. This can be on purpose, like with meditation, and sometimes it happens by accident. And that can happen when you see a beautiful sunset on a mountaintop, or you look in the eyes of the one you love. Sometimes you lose track of time and space. And if you lose track of time and space, it's the same thing as sinking into the deeper layers and experiences the connections with the universe and with everything that's there. And that's how to experience it. A little word about enlightenment, because for many people it's the main thing to reach enlightenment. And if you look at this model and the way you look at it, it's getting to the point where there's no time and space. So if you're really conscious that there is a place where there's no time and no space, then everything is one. And that is really a very big spiritual experience. And most of us won't get there with your conscience. But on the other hand, you know that you're already there. So it's something different that you can't get there with your conscience than that you're not there. So everybody is already also in the point where there's no time and no space. So you can say that everybody is already enlightened. And in fact, that everybody will always be enlightened and was ever always enlightened and will always be. And it's important also for you to know that you are already enlightened. So it's no use to try to get the connection. It's very useful to try to experience the connection. And that's something different, and that's not really very easy. But for practical use, and then we're going to the next point, because for a practical use, it's important that it's not needed to touch the bottom. So it will be an awful experience to touch the bottom, like Buddha did, and to really experience the enlightenment, but it's not needed for a practical purpose. So if you go to the deeper layers and experience something like a joyful peace or lose track of space and time, if you feel that, that's already very important to use it for your daily life. And important also is that you will experience also that you won't get any fixed answers. So if you think I have to choose between staying with my family or go out, or fighting the world or just obey or whatever, if you meditate and you go to the deeper layers or use another method, go to the deeper layers, you will notice that you won't get a fixed answer. They won't say stay with your family or leave. It's that you get a wider view about what's life like, and it's like you're going to a base camp and you see the whole mountain range and you see all the options, and in fact you see that your life is like a game or play, and that there are many options at the same time, and that you can choose one and go back to the surface and have your life there, but you can also come back again to the base camp and have another choice. So it makes that you have a change of perspective. If you're at the surface, you can only see your life from that perspective. If you go to the base camp, you have a far broader view, and the deeper you go, the deeper you go with your haypole of the connection with the universe, the broader the perspective will be, and the more choices you will have. So the change of perspective is the big gain that you will have, so that you can look at your life at a different way. The conclusion. If you want to experience the connection with the universe, your mind won't help, but that's not a problem. And if you want to get there, you have to inward your conscience. And to inwarding your conscience, you need to focus on one point. The sharper it gets, the easier it is to sink into the deeper layers. It's not needed to go all the way. If you go to a little bit different, if you a little bit go to the deep, then you already have a wide perspective. And if you only want to go there because you want to reach enlightenment, then you know that you're already enlightened, so it's not necessary to get there. It's great, but it's not necessary. And go to the deeper layers is like going to a base camp where you have a change of perspective and can see that your life is more like a game than if you stay at the surface and then you see that your life is a big struggle. You won't get any fixed answers, but you will get a lot more freedom in the choices you're making for your life. And that makes a lot of difference if you want to stay mentally healthy. So that was it. Many thanks for watching this video, and see you next time.